A recent headline is that Renaissance Technologies, or RenTec, has agreed to pay $7 billion for settling tax claims. Some say that it is the biggest tax settlement ever. So, in this video we'll talk about why RenTec is paying billions of dollars to the IRS. Hello and welcome to the channel. RenTec is a hedge fund manager. It was set up by Jim Simmons and is famous because its medallion fund is considered to be the most successful hedge fund ever. It has delivered more than 70% returns over decades, from 1993 to 2014. Their exploits are legendary. However, in a not-so-legendary twist to their story, they are now paying over $7 billion in back taxes, interest, and penalties. This development came after a long fight of close to a decade. The Internal Revenue Service will receive the money from the board members and employees of RenTec. That is the outcome, but what is the story here? To understand why RenTec is paying this settlement amount, here's a schematic of how hedge funds invest money. They put in $20 of their own money in the pot and borrow $80 from the bank. These $100 are then put to work by the hedge fund. If the investments rise to $140, the hedge fund may decide to cash in. They return $80 to the bank and keep $60. Their money has tripled. Of course, the bank will charge some interest and fee. Even accounting for those, the hedge fund would have made good returns. On the flip side, if the investments tank to $70, then the hedge fund gets nothing and the bank loses $10. The hedge fund's downside is protected. If we squint a bit, this looks awfully similar to an option, with its downside protection and an unlimited upside. What about tax? Very often, hedge funds trade frequently and pay short-term capital gains tax at, say, 39%. If they hold for over a year before selling, they pay long-term capital gains tax at 20%. Hedge funds would like to pay less tax and keep more of the profits. However, you cannot do that by lying to the government. In such cases, the government will sue you and that is not pleasant. RenTec and its banks, Deutsche and Barclays, were creative and elegant when lying about capital gains. Here's what they did. The bank and RenTec pooled their money. Bank brought in $90 and RenTec $10. That pool of $100 lived with the bank but was invested solely on RenTec's advice. They gave daily instructions to the bank on what to buy and sell and when. Trades were done frequently, sometimes to the tune of 100,000 trades a day. Whenever RenTec wanted, they had the option to take money out of this pool. The agreement was such that the bank received its $90, along with some interest and fee. RenTec got to keep the rest, including whatever investment gains were made. RenTec usually did not take its money out of the pool before 1 year. They can then tell the government, "See, I am taking my money out of this investment pool only after a year." This is eligible for long-term capital gains. Of course, the government did not agree. It is interesting to note that something similar may happen when retail investors invest in a mutual fund. For the duration their money is with the fund, it may buy and sell securities frequently. When the retail investor exits the fund after a year, they pay long-term capital gains tax. The key difference between retail investors and RenTec is that the former do not control trading decisions of the fund. They invested in the mutual fund, held it for over a year and exited. If their money grows, then it is clearly a long-term gain. This clever concoction dreamt up by RenTec and the banks, also enabled them to increase leverage. You see, hedge funds love to invest borrowed money. It supercharges their returns. However, there are regulatory limits on how much money hedge funds can borrow. Unlimited borrowings can exacerbate poor outcomes. RenTec and the banks got around those limits by using this structure. Anyways, so that's it for this video, and if you liked it, a like would be much appreciated. Do consider subscribing as that helps out the channel hugely. Thank you and I'll see you in the next one.